We begin with Britain's manufacturers, who are beginning to see a recovery as demand in the UK goes up and major markets begin to pick up as well. That's according to a survey published this morning by the manufacturers organisation Make UK. But while UK orders are rising, export orders have declined as businesses both in the UK and European Union are yet to settle into the new trading arrangements between the two. So last Friday, the Office for National Statistics said UK goods exports to the European Union fell by almost 41% in January, while imports tumbled 28.8%. The figures were the biggest drop since records began in 1997 and are the first since new trading rules between the UK and EU came into force. So will exports recover eventually? Well, let's discuss this with Stephen Phipson, who's Chief Executive of Make UK. Nice to talk to you again, Stephen. First of all, let's start with your survey. Just tell us how widespread it was and why you say the data gives you optimism about what's ahead. Briefly, Stephen, because we're almost out of time, but for food manufacturers and exporters, things are going to get tougher, aren't they, in April when new measures come into force? If they've got multiple ingredients, I mean, the level of bureaucracy is really high, isn't it? Thank you for your time. Good to talk to you. Chief Executive there of Make UK. Now let's talk about Italy in more detail. As you were hearing earlier, it is tightening restrictions from today, with shops, restaurants, schools closing in most of the country and nationwide over Easter. The tougher curbs on economic activity and freedom of movement is to try to control a rise in COVID-19 infections. Prime Minister Mario Draghi said he wants to support the virus-hit economy and would put forward a new decree this week to extend furlough schemes, bolster income support and simplify procedures to compensate companies whose revenues have been hit by closures. So this package of measures worth just over $38 billion was budgeted for previously, but now the Prime Minister said he would ask Parliament for authorisation to increase spending further. Well, Nicola Neboli is a lead economist at Oxford Economics and joins us now. Good to have you on the programme. Just talk us through the impact this third lockdown will have on the Italian economy. A lot of confidence in the relatively new Prime Minister Mario Draghi in terms of his plans for financial support. Thank you very much for your time explaining the situation in Italy. Let's now brief you on some other business stories. Let's stay with China now, the world's second biggest economy, because the economic data we've had out today shows there's been a pretty impressive rebound from the pandemic slump of a year ago. So figures for industrial output, if you look at retail sales, if you look at property investment, all of them have outperformed expectations in January and February. Sharanjit Lail has had the job of crunching those numbers for us in our Asia Business Hub. Lucky you, Sharanjit. What more can you tell us? Sharanjit there in Singapore for us. Now, one industry feeling the heat from global warming is the wine business. Many grape-growing regions are becoming too hot and dry to produce high-quality vintages, forcing some winemakers to literally uproot their vineyards. This is in Australia. So, Phil Mercer visited one in Orange, about 150 miles from Sydney, which is making a decisive move to escape the heat. And keep it with us here on BBC News. Still to come. You're with BBC News. The top stories this hour. Now, what is the most valuable private company that Silicon Valley has produced? You may be excused if you've never heard of it. It's a digital payment processor called Stripe, and it's valued at $95 billion after its latest funding round. Now, it was founded in 2010 by two Irish brothers, now in their early 30s, and its valuation has more than tripled in the last year. So they're sitting very pretty indeed. Let's talk to Russ Mould, Investment Director at AJ Bell. Good morning to you, Russ. This is all over the front page of the Financial Times this morning. Stripe, who knew? Who don't, because I understand they've raised a heck of a lot of money and their ambition is to expand across Europe. So will we all be using Stripe soon, do you think? keep a very close eye on Stripe. And as you say, you're already know Stripe, interestingly, through your local cricket club. Russ, thanks for being on the programme. Good to see you. Have a good week. Russ Mould, Investment Director there at AJ Bell. Now, let's talk camping. Caravan holidays apparently boomed in popularity in the last 12 months. It's set to be a similar story this year, with bookings already reported to be surging. 2020 was said to be the busiest year the caravan sector has had for 15 years. A boon for the industry, which employs around 130,000 people. So how are these companies preparing for the end of lockdown in the UK? Let's talk to Harvey Alexander, Board Director of the Caravan and Motorhome Club. Good morning to you. Now, a couple of incredible years for your industry. Is that mainly because of the pandemic and people felt it was a safe way to do holidays?
Absolutely.
In terms of the caravanning industry itself, I mean, I find in the UK, if I look to try and book a camping holiday, the frustration is everything's fully booked. There's no space.
Yeah.
Change. I'm not expecting it to go away, but with COVID-19 under control and we're able to holiday normally and book holidays normally, how will you sort of keep this demand? Has there been investment in the facilities, in the campsites, in the experience you get when you go camping? Sure, we'll see people popping up all over the place. Harvey, thank you very much indeed. Harvey Alexander there, Board Director of the Caravan and Motorhome Club. Are you a fan or not of camping, caravanning? Do tell. I'm at Sally Bundock at BBC. Thank you for your company. You're up to date now in all things business and the news. If you're watching on BBC One, breakfast will begin in around 5 minutes' time. On BBC World, I'll read you on you soon.